Hey, what's up, y'all? RF Sports Radio here with the live reaction to the Mavs winning Game 4, forcing the Game 5, and not just winning the game, but winning in epic fashion. A 38-point beatdown, 122 to 84 over the Boston Celtics. And you know how sometimes people say, well, the game was probably more closer than the score says. This is the exact opposite. The game was a lot worse than what the score says. I mean, the Celtics pulled their starters and like 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, which was surprising to me. They were getting beat by almost 35 points. And the Mavs continued to put on more points with their backup. Their bench actually came alive for the first time in this series, and guys contributed. You had big games from guys like Derek Lively. You even had Tim Hardaway come in at the end of the game and hit 5 straight three-pointers, which is something that I've never seen happen in a playoff or NBA Finals, and that was awesome too. Let's talk a little bit first of all about what this means now that the series is 3-1. We know that the statistic is 156-0 in terms of teams have never come back from a 3-0 deficit. This is one of the more lopsided victories in NBA Finals history. Now, we've had some bigger blowouts, but this is a big one. The Celtics have not lost by this kind of point margin ever before, and this will give the Mavericks a little life going into the Game 5, but let's face it, the Celtics did not play well at all. I mean, they came out very flat. It's really, really bad. At one point during the game, even Drew Holiday, as much as people talk about his defense and what he's done this entire series, he was a minus 38. Minus 38 for Drew Holiday, a guy that's been on the defensive team, an all-pro, an all-star. They just couldn't get it done. They couldn't stop Dallas whatsoever in the paint. And you saw Luka making a concerted effort not to get involved with the referees, not to let the calls really bother him, and to pass the ball. If y'all saw the preview show, one of the things I kept saying was he's got to trust his guys, pass the ball. And we knew it was going to be a big night when we saw Derek Lively hit that three-pointer from the corner. A guy that's now 1-3 on threes throughout the entire season, although he's shooting 50% now in the playoffs. He's 1-3 the entire season, hits a corner three, and I knew that at that point things are going to be a little bit different. You saw everybody come in and contribute. Maxi Kleber had to play a lot of minutes because P.J. Washington was in foul trouble. But you saw everybody step up to the podium. Everybody scored. They even got a chance to put in some of their rookies in the end of the game. This was I don't know if it's a momentum shifting game, but this was the game the Mavs needed in front of their home crowd, showcasing who they are and showcasing to the world that they do belong on this stage. Now, before the game, sitting in the press conference for the coaches and talking to other media members, the big buzz around this game was how would Luka Doncic react to some of the criticism he's received about how he's played and especially by his defense. This stat about blow-bys, he's got 68% blow-by rate, which is the highest ever recorded in NBA history. And he also has the other, second spot and the third spot in that list too, from previous appearances in the playoffs. But he responded, I think, the best way he could. He had a big night tonight. Let me see what his stat was last night. He had close to a triple-double last night. He had 29 points. He also had five rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. I mean, the dude played defense. He was ripping Drew Holiday. He was jumping around, going for the ball on the floor. Something that we haven't seen him do because he's always kind of been complaining or talking, to the officials, things of that nature. But he played a very, very perfect game in that aspect where he was feeding the ball, trusting his guys, and the guys paid off because they were hitting shots. I mean, like I said, Tim Hardaway hit shots. Maxi Kleber was hitting shots. Derek Lively, 22 minutes and had 11 points, but those 11 points were dunks, putbacks. Even Daniel Gafford was getting the ball in the post, making things happen, getting guys in foul trouble. It was just an all-around total effort, and for them to respond the way that they did, that to me is what the story should be about. The way they responded, the way Luka responded, the way his teammates rallied around him. You know, Coach Kidd said something before the game that made a lot of sense. He said at some point during the game, either somebody's going to hold on to that rope or somebody's going to let it go. And the Celtics let it go very early. I mean, 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, you're pulling all your starters. You basically decided, hey, we're going to go to Game 5 and let this go. I didn't like that. I thought it was too early to do something like that. You still have a chance to come back, especially when you have a team that can shoot the three the way they can. But at that point during the game when he pulled them, they were shooting less than 30%, I think 29% from the field at that point. At that point, they only had made 5 3-pointers the entire game. So I think he just read the writing on the wall and said, hey, this is not our day. We're going to live to fight another day, regroup, get back, and see what happens. Now, for Game 5, we don't know what's going to happen with Porzingis. He warmed up before the game. He was dressed out. He was available to play, but the coaches decided not to put him in that game. And we'll see if he comes back for Game 5. But you got to know that Boston crowd, who is a lot of Boston fans in the building last night, but that Boston crowd is going to be loud and try to support their team and to win this game in Boston. But again, y'all know the record, 156-0. Nobody's come back for 3-0. But at some point, doesn't somebody have to do it? We'll see. We'll preview Game 5. You guys stay tuned right here on RF Sports Radio.